Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Vacuum Exposition. Of course, I am Carl, and we are at the very end of our May series for my birthday. Those that haven't been tuning in, definitely go back and watch the past few videos from this month. We have been taking a look specifically at Japanese vacuum cleaners, not just made in Japan, but made for the Japanese market, and a little backstory for the past year or so. My good friend Jared has been piecing out his collection as he made his move from Oregon to Washington, in which case he couldn't keep his entire collection, but he was able to keep a little bit. However, a good majority had to go, so a good lot of machines came through my door, which I am eternally grateful because it has been able to give me some awesome content to show you fine people. So, with that, of course, a big thank you to Jared. I'm sure I'll say it many more times. But either way, that's what we have to look at today. Now, a little bit more insider info that you guys are going to get today. So, I don't know how many of you noticed, maybe if you eagle-eyed people out there have seen, there's been a variety of things on my shelf behind me or behind my chair, but those are not nearly as full as they once were. Now, there's good reason for that. But before I get into that, I'll tell a little bit of backstory. My apartment that I've been living at, and you guys have seen me do so many videos from lately for the past probably year or so, it has had a number of issues, unfortunately. A lot of them being little electrical gremlins that have come up through no fault of mine or my wife. We have had a lot of issues with sockets going dead, sockets that were singed or burned because of assorted issues. My apartment building was built in the early 90s, and from what I can tell, very little of the electrical has been updated, but more so band-aided to keep it back together and working. My maintenance guys are good at what they do, but sometimes there are issues that come up that are just a little bit, well, they're out of their wheelhouse. This past week, I had come home for my lunch, and I went to turn off a lamp, just like I usually do, and head back to work. Uh, Something I do almost every single day. Went to turn it off, and then all of my lights went out on the wall down that way. And now my hallway is completely dark. So called and sent messages to my leasing office and maintenance team, and they came out here, had three gentlemen in my apartment looking at each and every outlet, and unfortunately, they were not able to fix it. So, based upon my limited research and knowledge of house electrical problems. Basically, where that leaves me is, well, we could have a electrical fire that starts one day and not know where it's coming from, and at the expense of us and all of our belongings. And we are just not really willing to take that risk. So we have slowly been packing some of our more valuable stuff and getting it ready to put into storage because with what's going on, we just don't know what's going to happen. And we actually go out of town on Wednesday. So, and of course, this is the worst time for something like that to happen. But we are getting things ready. Been very busy trying to get things packed up and put into boxes with the limited boxes that we have, unfortunately, just because we weren't really planning on doing any packing and moving, really. But unfortunately, we are going to have to do whatever we can to minimize any losses that are coming our way potentially. So I have started packing my belongings in the shelves and whatnot, and of course, all the vacuums have been moved out, at least temporarily. So doing videos and everything has, well, it's kind of become a harder task than it normally is. So each vacuum, I want you all to know, each vacuum now has to come straight from storage, come here, do the video, do the run demo and all that, and then go right back because I don't want to risk anything getting well damaged in any type of a fire that may happen, provided they can't figure out what's going on. Now, that doesn't stop my videos or the schedule or anything like that. Even when I'm going to be gone, I'm going to have a video out for you guys. So don't worry about missing a video, but uh, it is definitely going to be a challenge getting everything so it's safe, so that we don't lose anything in case of worst case scenario. But everything you see behind me is going to have to come down, packed up, and move on out, at least temporarily. So, but anyways, I'll keep you updated on the status on that. Hopefully, I get power back to this wall, and it was a simple issue. But who knows? So we'll just kind of have to see what happens. But in other news, now I've mentioned this a couple times on the channel already, but me and my wife have released a book series. Now, my wife is a speech therapist, and she, of course, helps kiddos with their issues then that way. But we decided to release a book series to help kids with their speech sounds. So the second book was a little near and dear to my heart. This is Victor the Vacuum Cleaner. This was illustrated by me, so any book that we have out is illustrated by me. My wife does all the writing. So we released this right before we left for Europe, and have released one book, well, about once a month for the past, well, 4 or 5 months. But this one is particularly close to me just because of my interests. So if you are interested in supporting the channel, definitely go on Amazon. I'll even put a link to it down below. And please snag yourself a copy of Victor the Vacuum. It helps our publishing company as well as, well, kiddos with speech issues. So please definitely go check that out. So without further ado, let's get on to our vacuum for today and take a look at another really cool one. All right, everybody. So we have a really cool one to take a look at today. Now, some of you will remember from our Vacuums Rescued segment that I did, a couple weeks ago or so. We talked about some of the machines that I had gotten from Jared that I had recently gotten processed into my collection. This being one of them. Now, like I said, I have been processing through a lot of stuff lately. So things come through each and every day, but with recent developments in our living situation, I haven't really gotten a chance to do very much of that this week. However, I was able to get some machines up and ready for sale. I haven't posted them online yet, but if you are interested, I did get 3 Hoover Dial-O-Matics ready to go on eBay, and I'll show a picture of those right here. So if any of you are interested in a new Dial-O-Matic for your collection, definitely feel free to reach out down in the comments below, or feel free to look me up on Facebook. Of course, I go by Constellation Carl there too. I'd be happy to discuss anything like that. And if you're interested, I can always go ahead and throw it up on eBay and we can do the deal there. So that is that. But we will be taking a look at more vacuums rescued as time progresses. Like I said, I'll be out of town next weekend, so I won't have much time to get that much done with the vacuum stuff, but we'll take a look at that probably the week after. But we will still have a video, so no worries there. Now, what we're looking at today, however, for our vacuum exposition is a special one. Now, normally these are a fairly common machine here in the United States. This is a 1985 Filter Queen Princess 2 canister vacuum. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, are like going, Carl, this is pretty basic for us. You know, we had the Princess series of machines by Filter Queen for many years, so they were not in any way a rare machine here in the United States. Well, that's true, but they were in Japan. Now, what we are looking at is a Japanese imported Filter Queen Princess 2. And for the most part, it's not very different from what we had here in the United States. Um, it does, however, have all of the labels and everything that are on this machine are in Japanese, and it does appear to have been used very sparsely. So, actually, if I was to really look into it more, I would say that this machine was rarely used and most likely just sat in a closet because there's very little bumps or scuffs or scrapes. It was a little dusty, but that's pretty normal for any type of vacuum cleaner, obviously. But as far as the history goes on the Filter Queen Princess, Filter Queens in the United States have been a long-standing door-to-door sales vacuum cleaner. They're still in business. They sell a vacuum that's very similar to this. And even prior to this, the Filter Queen 31 ran for about 25 to 30 years prior to this. So this machine design, at least, has been going around for, oh, well, I mean, the better part of 80 years, as far as I can tell. Now, the Princess line was actually an exclusive line that was sold through vacuum shops. So, by that, instead of having somebody come door to door and sell it to you, you had the opportunity to go to your local vacuum shop and purchase one of these bad boys. So, basically, the Princess line was I wouldn't say it was cheapened up, but they definitely made some changes that were a little bit more budget friendly for production. For instance, the first Princess was actually a red and white machine, but it was the first machine of Filter Queens that had plastic tools. This machine, being the Princess 2, no different. All the tools are plastic, whereas the door to door sold machines would have been metal. So that is one of the bigger differences. In addition to that, you also had different colors. Now, the door to door stuff at this time would have been in like a dark brown color, maybe even a black color, depending on how late it was. It would have come with a more deluxe power nozzle with the headlight, kind of like that 31X that we looked at last week in Vacuums Rescued. Um, but either way, the door to door machines definitely had their little one up of the machines that were sold through vacuum shops. Now, that doesn't mean that these things weren't still built ruggedly with plenty of options. These still came with a full power nozzle, full set of tools, and, I mean, of course, an internally electric hose in order to do their work. This machine, the Princess 2, was actually the very first of the models that went into well, kind of a three-tone gray. You had kind of a light gray, a dark gray, and an even darker gray for kind of the top. Honestly, I really like the colorway, and it just gives it kind of a very rugged, utilitarian purpose. And it is a very, very purpose-built machine. Now, Filter Queens had a very interesting design, as many people will know, in which case, instead of using a bag, they were more so kind of like a shop vac type build, but they used a filter cone, hence the Filter Queen name, in which it would filter the dust into the cone, and thus you wouldn't have to use a bag and toss that out. The cone could be used many, many times and still keep the motor from jamming up with dust and whatnot. So, a revolutionary design that is still used today, even from the original design. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go back and take a look at my video on the original Filter Queen. It I received it, well, probably over a year ago now from a local vacuum shop, and it is just a really, really cool machine. Different in design, but utilizes a lot of the same aspects as these machines, but still used a filter cone. Now, this machine definitely has gone through its trip. This being a Filter Queen, it was still made here in the United States, so it has been across the world and back several times now. So it went from here in the United States over to Japan, lived its life from the 80s into the 90s, into the 2000s, 2010s, and then into the 2020s, where finally the owner had put it up for sale on a auction site in which Jared purchased from. So very, very cool that it had that history. Now, it would have had a full power nozzle that went with it. Unfortunately, I did not receive the power nozzle with it. I don't remember if Jared had either, but either way, I do actually have another Princess 2 that was just kind of a base model from the United States that had the power nozzles. It's in storage right now, so as soon as I get back to it, I'll take its power nozzle and unite it with this one. So that way this one will be all complete. And then that other one will be available for sale eventually. But this machine is definitely not going anywhere for sure. The Filter Queen vacuum cleaner company is definitely one that I admire and absolutely love. They work so good and they have so much power compared to other canisters, which is why they're still sold today and sell very well. So, in terms of options, they always came with a full set of attachments. They had the blower attachment up at the top, so you could do assorted things with that. And then the power nozzles were second to none, and oftentimes were considered some of the best power nozzles that were ever produced. So, but anyways, that's all I have on the Filter Queen Princess 2 from 1985. Unfortunately, with this being a vacuum shop exclusive, I was not able to find very many ads or anything on any Filter Queens. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to find those, but if I do find some, I will make an edit to the video and add them in. Just wasn't able to find some in time for this. But anyways, let's get on to a run demo for today and see how this does. I know that I don't have the power nozzle, but I do have some attachments that we can play with real quick, and let's see how we do. All right, everybody, we've got the Filter Queen Princess 2 all ready to go. It is all plugged in. Unfortunately, I had to plug it in kind of far away, so the cord is kind of stretched out a little bit, but that's okay. We're working with what we got, but it is a two-speed machine, so it's got a high and a low. I will be sure to demonstrate that. You'll hear a distinct pitch change in the motor. We're going to take a look at the dusting brush, the upholstery tool, and the crevice tool today and see how they do on the floor, and we'll go from there. So let's get to it. Well, everybody, that's going to do it for our run demo on the 1985 Filter Queen Princess 2. It actually did a really phenomenal job, even with just hand tools, and it really is able to pull this carpet up. Now, I did test out the high-low two-speed transfer, and it does really well with either one of them, so I'm not surprised that it still was able to pull the carpet up even on the lower speed. So definitely impressive, and of course, I'm sure this was a pretty high dollar machine, to get over in Japan. So, but I hope you all enjoyed our little run demo for today. Well, everybody, we have come to the end of another one here today. I do want to thank you all for joining us again for another episode, of course, of Vacuum Exposition, as well as supporting the channel. Since I've mentioned the book that me and my wife have produced, we've had a huge uptick in sales. So for those that have purchased them, thank you so much for supporting us as well as our publishing company. We are definitely trying to get our name out there so that well, we can reach more people with more need and continue to help where we can. So it has been an absolute joy to be able to do that. Of course, like I said, huge thank you to those that have purchased the book. If you are interested, like I said, I will post the link down below. Definitely go get yourself a copy. During this day and age, we're definitely in need of the support just because we're still a pretty small publishing company. But we will continue to grow as time progresses. In terms of today's video, of course, thank you all again for watching. I know that it may even be a little bit more dim than it normally is in here, just because I have lost all power in that wall. But we're making the best out of the what we can. So I'm gonna keep doing videos, and I'm gonna keep going about my business as long as I can, and in the meantime, trying to get some of my valuables all packed up. So, but I hope you guys all enjoyed our little video today on the 1985 Filter Queen Princess 2 from Japan. It is a really, really cool little machine, and I am so happy that Jared let me have this one. This is one that I wasn't honestly expecting to get from him. So this was definitely a surprise. It was definitely one that I am super happy that I was able to bring to you guys. It was really fun seeing this thing out and working again. I'm not sure how many times it has been out working since it got back from the United States. I know Jared used it a couple of times, but I'm glad that it was able to do a little bit here and there in between then. Now, as for what's going to happen from here on out with it, it is going into a nice retirement with the rest of my Filter Queen collection. I have a pretty sizable amount of machines now for that, so maybe sometime we'll take a look at all of them at once and see how they all stack up against each other. But anyways, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. I know it is a long weekend with Memorial Day, so for those that are celebrating, I hope you're having a great weekend and it's nice and sunny and such. It is here too, and I'll probably get back outside. I got some stuff I got to do out there. But I hope you guys all are able to have a good weekend this weekend and, well, enjoy hopefully a good Monday off. Stay safe out there if you're out camping and whatnot with your family. But either way, we will still be having a video for you guys that are back at home no matter what. But anyways, have a great rest of your weekend, and we will catch you again next week with another one. And I've got a couple ideas for what we're going to do. So stay tuned. But y'all have a great next week, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.